Booker nightmare. Republicans call for investigation as gay man goes public with sex assault allegation. Bad news is hitting for possible 2020 presidential candidate and current Democratic Senator Cory Booker, and it could be making hypocrites of his entire party in the process. An accusation has been made via Twitter that Spartacus, as the New Jersey senator infamously referred to himself during Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation battle, sexually assaulted a gay man. The account, without being too graphic, does detail what allegedly happened when the man said he met Booker at an informal gathering 4 years ago. It also gives some detail about the man making the accusation without identifying him. Note some very crude language. RealMagaSteve. Breaking man steps forward with sexual assault allegations against Cory Booker. A gay man Democrat said in 2014 he was coming out of the men's room when Booker pulled him back in and sexually assaulted him. Read his detailed letter of what happened. The gist of the story is that Booker, who has admitted sexually groping a female friend in high school, sexually assaulted the man in a restroom after the alleged victim complimented him. The alleged victim's account, published online, is lengthy and was shared with an attorney. According to the Mont's allegation, and at this point it is only an allegation without supporting evidence, the incident occurred in 2014, and the victim claims to be a liberal who was a Democrat at the time. While he wrote that he has gone through rough times since the alleged incident, fast forward 2 jobs, 3 therapists and 1 suicide attempt later to the latter half of last month, he wrote that Booker's behavior during the Kavanaugh hearings convinced him to speak out. Watching Mr. Booker's histrionic defense of the alleged sexual assault victim was so laughably ironic, so jarringly cringeworthy, and so triggering that it put me into a state of depressed rumination, he wrote. He made contact with a lawyer, Harmeet Dillon of the Dillon Law Group, the high-profile Republican attorney and a member of the Republican National Committee. At Dillon's urging, the man wrote, he reached out to New Yorker reporter Ronan Farrow, who has broken so many Me Too stories, but Farrow did not show much interest in his story, from the Mont's account. Readers might remember Farrow co-bylined an article in The New Yorker in which a former Yale classmate of Kana's accused him of drunkenly exposing himself during a party. That story had no corroborating witnesses, but it didn't stop Farrow from going with it. Using the Twitter handle Deep Throat, the alleged victim posted a follow-up to his accusation post, addressing some questions and concerns that were raised regarding not reporting at the time and if he will press charges. The statute of limitations would prohibit charges being filed at this time. The Deep Throat. Brief follow-up to some concerns that have been raised. As the whole country probably remembers, when Kavanaugh was accused of sexual assault without any evidence or corroboration, Booker himself had a lot to say that now he may wish he hadn't. For example, he said witnesses who could not remember the party where Kavanaugh accuser Christine Blasey Ford said she was assaulted might have cast doubt on the accusations but did not exonerate Kavanaugh. Booker may regret setting such a foolishly reckless standard. Damian 68,829,005. Cory Booker says no witnesses have exonerated Brett Kavanaugh yet. In Kavanaugh's case, Booker and others made it clear that to them neither evidence nor due process mattered. An accusation was enough for Booker when it came to Kavanaugh. Now, some conservatives are asking, if Booker's low standards for guilt were good enough for Kavanaugh then, why should they be good enough for Booker now? That's a hard question if you happen to be standing in Cory Booker's shoes. Heavy check mark. Dinesh D'Souza. In a trial, yes, he deserves that presumption. But what if we view this as a job interview, to see if Cory Booker is qualified for public office? Karmizabich. Heavy check mark. RAMRANTS. While Booker deserves the presumption of innocence, he has admitted to committing sexual assault in the past. There are rumors surrounding his sexuality. He has also abused power as a senator in the past. While I'm holding out for more evidence, the accuser's claim is plausible. Booker also said that in Kavanaugh's case wasn't about politics but moral leadership. Should Booker, along with the Democrats who parroted him then, hold himself to that same standard? McPantsuit. Sen Booker, this has nothing to do with politics, this has to do with moral leadership. In a moral moment there is no neutral. Your supporters are complicit in evil. At one point, as the Daily Caller noted, Booker said, there is so much at stake here, this has nothing to do with politics. This has to do with who we are as moral leaders, and that in a moral moment, there is no neutral. He also called those supporting Kavanaugh complicit in evil. So, does the same apply to anyone supporting Booker against a similarly unproven accusation? Making the most of some of the highest quality political hay in recent memory, conservative activists and commenters have been rhetorically and delightedly calling for an investigation of Booker. Stacey - want an immediate FBI investigation and for Cory to step down now. Will Jr. 2020. Hey Oliver, why don't you push to investigate Cory Booker sexually assaulting a gay man? Margare 95,466,289. Ronanfero Hey, Ronan, when are you going to investigate Cory Booker's alleged assault on a gay man? Is Me Too full of hypocritical operatives of the DNC? Breaking Man steps forward with sexual assault allegations against Sen. Cory Booker, with lawyer response to Gateway pundit. Gay conservative. Sen Feinstein as a gay man, I cannot wait to see you investigate Cory Booker for this. It's not only women that are sexually abused. And your pet Spartacus guy looks guilty to me. Isn't that the game now? Guilty till proven innocent. Other conservatives seem to be shifting from rhetoric into real calls for investigations, but unlike many leftists continue to stand by the idea of due process. For Booker, that's the most dangerous line of attack. Those conservatives can withhold the traditional values of English and American law, while also creating a massive political headache for Booker vis-a-vis an investigatory nightmare. Bradleyingram 24. I am no fan of Sen Booker, but like ASSOC Just Kavanaugh, Sen Booker should be presumed innocent till proven guilty. That doesn't mean the gentleman's accusations shouldn't be investigated. Heavy check mark RAMRANTS. New Jersey Senator, Cory Booker, accused of sexual assault by a man. https, twitter.com/i/moments/1053746801835073536. 13. Heavy check mark RAMRANTS. While Booker deserves the presumption of innocence, he has admitted to committing sexual assault in the past. There are rumors surrounding his sexuality. He has also abused power as a senator in the past. While I'm holding out for more evidence, the accuser's claim is plausible. 2459. Now we come to Booker's nightmare. If he doesn't treat himself the same way he treated Kavanaugh, his hypocrisy will be on full display, and right before the midterm elections and a potential 2020 presidential run. And since Democrats fawned all over Booker's Spartacus Act, they're stuck to crush Cory or prove they're everything conservatives accused them of mere weeks ago. Madria Norman. So, if we are using the standard set by Democrats, we should see a mob of angry gay men shrieking outside the office of Cory Booker demanding he resign, pending an FBI investigation. Or, do we only believe all survivors when they accuse Republicans? While there's no shortage of understandable glee coming from conservatives, we need to be very careful. We can't use the left's Kavanaugh strategy just because it's now politically advantageous. Conservatives stand for the rule of law, and the law demands due process. Booker is not guilty until evidence proves it, and conservatives need to stake that position. The only place accusations alone are enough to convict a man is the court of public opinion, and it's notoriously mob-like. That does not, however, mean that we can't investigate the claims. That will help determine whether there is evidence or not. Nor does due process mean we can't hold the left's feet to the fire on consistency. It is perfectly fine to rake Booker et al. Over the coals for having a double standard. Where well err is in convicting before the evidence comes out. What Booker's now seeing is the world if evidence is no longer relevant and an accusation is all that's required to end a man's career. One last point. This entire episode demonstrates a fundamental difference between leftists and conservatives. Leftists are willing to tear down traditions and institutions in order to advance their political interests. Conservatives, on the other hand, don't usually destroy anything until they have something better to replace it. And so far, no society has ever found anything better to replace due process despite Democrats' best efforts.